When you need a mortgage, don't stress at all. Just tune right in and give these guys.
Good morning, YouTube. Today is Friday, February 27th. Boys, you believe we're already in the March practically for 2026? What is going on here?
Crazy, man. It's crazy.
Month end today. So
Happy Pokemon Day, Tommy.
Happy Pokemon Day. Big Friday here today. It's kind of crazy wrapping it up. They're also letting people out on the golf course today. We got 55 in Pittsburgh. So I'm gearing up this weekend. I'm not doing anything this weekend. I'm gearing up for a big pre-approval weekend. I think people are going to be out looking at houses. So that's my plan.
And if you know about the Pokemon Day, you know. If you don't, you don't, and you're too late. I'll say that. But,
yep.
Yeah. You know, late. There's some experts that are already sitting in the parking lot waiting for these things. I don't know who those people are out there in the world, but there are experts doing it, getting there early, understanding how the world works. So
capitalism is a great thing.
Yes, it is. But fellas, today we are going to start a little series about mortgage costs and financing costs and costs to buy a home, because one of the main items a buyer's looking for when they get that pre-approval or they start buying a home is that cost sheet or that loan estimate. But I'm going to be honest, fellas, a lot of the burden gets put on us with the costs. And frankly, they're not all mortgage costs.
Yeah. And, you know, it kind of stinks because a lot of the times they're comparing costs that aren't our costs anyway. It could be the title costs. It could be the real estate agent's costs, taxes, you know, really stuff that doesn't even affect us on the mortgage side, but we get blamed for having the high cost. So yeah, I think this is a great mini series that we're starting here today, and I'm excited to kind of show the people what really happens.
And Anth, we have a lot of realtors that watch Chatter. We've been doing this for 318 episodes now. So if you want to be the real pro, and part of being the real pro on the real estate side is understanding what you're looking at those costs so you can save your buyers from a disastrous situation. And that's what we're going to help today. We want to help everyone be the real pro.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the problem is a lot of clients don't get estimates from a majority of lenders. And I don't know how that happens, because how can you say you're going to buy a house when you don't even know what you're paying? There are multiple costs involved that aren't pertaining to actual financing, but they are required because you are getting financing. But, you know, we're going to dive into it today and give you a little insight on what to look for.
But Anth, what I'm even concerned about more is when the buyers do get an estimate and the buyer and the realtor together can't decipher what they're looking at. And then the realtor leads them down the wrong path because, frankly, they're getting tricked by some of these financing numbers on the estimate. That's why we want you guys to become the real pro, so you can say, oh, Mr. or Mrs. Buyer, actually, let's ask about this fee, because I understand that this fee could be quoted one way now, but it could be completely different at closing. And if you save your buyers, I don't know, thousands of dollars, that's a hell of a selling tool, Tom, if you're out there trying to show your value and worth compared to other realtors.
Yeah, I would say 90% of the people care about the actual money and how much money they are saving. So, you know, being able to benefit them and tell them, like, here's how you save money. You use this lender. We're looking at these things to save money. That puts you a leg up. And I know real estate agents that do know their stuff inside and out. And they're the ones killing it right now. They're doing deals left and right. They're not slow. They have buyers and sellers both, because they're fully explaining to these people what's actually going on. And all the public wants to know is what is going on. Give me a full explanation.
And frankly, on our end, 2008 happened. The government came in. The government overregulated the mortgage industry and caused some mortgage documents to have to be given to buyers. Unfortunately, they convoluted the rules. They convoluted the name of the documents, and the average home buyer does not know the rules about when they have to receive a loan estimate. What's the difference from a loan estimate to a cost sheet? All of those items that we're going to talk about today to make sure you guys as realtors are the pros, do know what you're talking about. And if you see something or you hear a red flag, you're then able to help your clients, because really it all starts with the confusion of what a loan estimate is compared to a cost sheet.
Yeah, 100%, because some people do give out loan estimates, some people give out cost sheets, and frankly, you have to understand how to look at both. You know, we could go over them till we're blue in the face, but we're not held to, you know, certain standards on one end, but the other we are. So we have to teach you how to understand both, would be my opinion.
So Anthony, let's pull up some information for the people here. What do you say?
Ready to go.
And let's talk, we're going to talk specifically about the loan estimate, because the loan estimate is the government form, is the form that's part of TRID that actually has rules associated with it, where a loan officer has to give, and we're starting on the right-hand side over here, they have to issue a loan estimate when they have these 6 pieces of information. And this right here, this starts all the confusion, because the average person does not know that they have to get a loan estimate specifically when the loan officer has this info.
Yeah, and there it is laid out. This is something that we need to, you know, hammer into your guys' ears, because people are hiding fees all the time, and the loan estimate is really the only one that can hold them to certain costs that they will put on those estimates.
And Anthony, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're doing a pre-approval, now number 4 is the one variable we'll get to, but if you're doing a pre-approval, you're going to get this information.
Yeah. I mean, you have the address, but is it is it based on a transaction basis, or is it based on just any property out there? Right. I think that's where confusion is. But getting the loan estimate, it's easy enough to ask for the loan estimate. You know, most people aren't even getting a cost sheet, you know, but getting a loan estimate is going to hone in those costs. And that's what you need. You need to have an understanding of what those costs are, so you can relay that once you make formal application. And if you're an agent out there and you see something on that estimate, don't just turn a blind eye because you like that person, you know, as far as the lender, you know, or you have a specific relationship. If they're saying they're waiving fees when they make formal application, they should be waiving those fees. It's misrepresentation, and we see it all the time when we do second looks. So getting the estimate's going to help.
And the only reason we specifically talk loan estimate on this show is because the loan estimate is the standard form. We have a cost sheet at West Penn. Every single bank and lender has their own cost sheet, and they all look different. Where the loan estimate, it is a standardized form. So if you're comparing and looking at costs, everyone's loan estimate is structured the same, so it's easier to compare.
Yeah, and it's all laid out. It's all in the same place, right? I mean, that's why it is best when you're comparing, because it, you know, as we get into the page 2, we'll show you, it totals it up for you. You don't have to add all the fees.
Yes. So right here, I want to show you page 1 real quick. We're only going to get into the costs today, which are page 2, which Tom said, but you can see clearly it is labeled loan estimate. It has the company information at the top for the bank. It tells you what's going on with the loan, what type of loan it is. Is it conventional? Is it FHA? It literally says, is the rate locked or not? Look at what your eyes tell you. Read a little bit to make sure you're understanding what's going on with the financing. Look at the sales price. Look at the loan amount. Is the interest rate what you thought it was? A lot of times, realtors and buyers will get this form and they frankly are just not reading it or understanding what they're reading, and it's hurting them in the long run.
Yep, 100%. Let's dive into that page 2 with those costs.
let's get into page 2. And today we're only going to talk about section A and section B because those are the places you can go for mortgage costs. So ignore everything else. We're going in section A and B. And Anthony, section A, you can have a million different terminology in this section, but anything here is specific lender fees.
Correct. Yeah. So anything that's going to be in here, whether it's called an admin fee, a liaison fee, an underwriting fee, a loan officer fee, anything in this section A is the lender fee to be able to do your loan, underwrite process, fund, the whole 9 yards. So this is a very important section.
And Tom, I get this question probably 75% of the time. And again, this is a standardized form. We don't get to make this form. If there were points, as you can see, it says percent of loan amount, points. That section is blank. But if you're being charged points, it will be in that section. But a lot of people ask me, oh man, what points are you charging me? Because it does look like with how it's set up, points are always being charged, but that's not necessarily the case.
No, there's no dollar amount there next to those points. It would be above that 1255. And, it's important to remember there's 2 different types of points that lenders can charge you. It's a discount point, which will get the rate lower and has direct benefit, prepaying interest to you. And there's also a loan origination point, which is just what the originator or the bank is charging to get the loan done, and you're not actually getting a benefit to your interest rate. So very important to notice what type of point you are getting.
On our side of things, guys, section A is the most important because this is the actual cost of what the lender is charging. And they're stuck to these costs for 10 days. So unless there's a change of circumstance, this is the cost your buyer's going to be charged. There's other sections in the estimate that we'll get to in other parts where you can fudge the numbers and make closing costs look lower, but you can't do it here. If you are really wanting to look at numbers for your buyer, and we'll get into section B next, you should look at the interest rate plus section A and B to see what your full buyer's cost is for financing. Everything else is kind of noise. Everything else is going to be the same depending on title company or municipality you're closing in, whatever it may be. But A, B, and the interest rate, Anth, are so valuable to showing real cost to the buyer.
Yeah, and I think it gets lost with buyers because they're looking at 2 things. They're looking at the rate and what are they bringing to closing. They're not looking in the middle. And the only thing that a client can truly shop for is what is the lender actually charging to do that loan. Regardless of the lender, everything else is going to be basically the same at closing. Title fees, taxes, homeowners insurance, doesn't matter what that is, but the lender section is what the buyer can truly shop for.
So in section B, services you cannot shop for. So there's certain part of the mortgage that the lender is going to have to control. For us, it's an appraisal in the credit report. We have to choose who we're pulling. We can't let you choose who you're getting your credit report pulled from. We do that. We also have specific appraisers we work with to get the appraisal fee done. And these are real costs. This is called an estimate, guys. So there are other lenders out there that will try to fudge their estimate to make it look better. But when you're looking in the exact categories of the loan estimate, and you can see section A and B, this is where you have to ask the questions. If you see section A that is thousands and thousands of dollars, you got to figure out why. Now, it may be a specialized loan that's frankly more expensive, or your buyer's getting charged dollars that they don't understand they're getting charged. And that's where we want to make you guys the pro, and I'm going to stop sharing here, of getting into the mortgage costs. So that's what we want to do. We want to make you guys our eyes and ears. So if you see something, alert us. We become a team. We hone in on it, and then we can help you figure out where those costs are coming from.
Yeah, just give us a call. I mean, we're here to help.
That's it. So that was part 1. As you can see on page 2 of the loan estimate, we have a lot more to get to. But that was just the mortgage costs. So if you're looking over the weekend, if you're curious, section A and B of the loan estimate plus the interest rate, are going to show you that real fee.
Good stuff, boys.
All right, fellas, have a great weekend. Good luck to all those Pokemon hunters out there. Hope you get the packs you're looking for.
Later, boys. Have a good weekend.
See you guys.
Tom, Ryan, and Anthony, oh, they know best.